morning. It is 11:47, March 6th, 2026. I'd like to say first off, happy birthday to my wife, mother of my children, kind of my rock through all of this. We've been married since 2012, so it'll be 14 years this month. Super excited for that. But I wanted to take some time and kind of give my perspective, because I know everyone's waiting for my perspective, right? About the conflict going on right now between Iran and Israel. I'm not, and I actually wrote this out, so I'm not going to be kind of going all over the place. A little structured. I have like a $35 camera, like $20 microphone. So this is my little ghetto studio. It's just me, right? I'm not a politician. I'm not a think tank analyst. I am a former U.S. Army infantryman, and I fought in Iraq. I had a couple tours there during the surge. I've seen what war looks like when cameras are turned off, when the dust settles, when civilians are caught up in the middle of it, and kind of the real consequences when they start, right? So when we talk about Iran, I don't look at it like a headline. I look at it through a different kind of question. It's kind of a how did we get here? What does success actually look like? What happens to the civilians when the shooting stops? Winning, and to be honest, winning the battle is the easy part. The kinetic part, that's the easiest part. Winning the peace, that's what's hard. So, like I said before, I was in Iraq a few times, and I saw the reality of modern warfare. Now, modern warfare has dramatically increased since then. And you take a look at the Ukrainian front, anywhere else really, the advent of drones, hypersonic missiles, GPS blocking, all these different tools that are now easily accessible to foreign entities and other entities that we used to just pretty much command. It's all over the battlefield now, so it's completely different kind of hellscape. I will put it at that, right? You can remove an enemy force, you can destroy weapons, you can win firefights, big battles, but the moment the shooting stops, something else has to happen. Okay. People still need electricity, food, medical care, jobs, security. If those things collapse, you don't get peace. You get insurgency, chaos, and mass migration. And I believe right now there's about 1.2 million refugees from the region in Iran from other conflicts. So you got that compounding to our current situation, right? And that's the lesson I think about when we talk about Iran today. Now, the road to how we got here, it goes back to the 50s, 60s. It goes back, right? Back before I was born, back before I fought in my Middle East war. But it's built on years of accusations from all sides. What the U.S. and Israel accuse Iran of, Washington and Israel argued Iran was moving closer to nuclear capability, expanding ballistic missile programs. They were funding militant groups across the region, which I personally saw. Great job with the EFPs. Those were fantastic against our armor. I definitely remember those. Destabilizing countries through proxy warfare, that you cannot not say that that's not going on, right? Groups often cited include Hezbollah, Hamas, militias in Iraq and Syria, Houthis in Yemen. But from their perspective, from our perspective, Iran was building a regional military network capable of threatening Israel and U.S. forces and destabilizing the world for the most part, right? Because a lot of traffic, a lot of oil, a lot of commerce flows through that area. So that's kind of the Israel-U.S. position. What Iran is accusing Israel and U.S. is the opposite. They said the United States and Israel have been conducting covert war against Iran for years, including cyber attacks on nuclear infrastructure, which we've seen that. Yeah, we know. Assassination of Iranian scientists, sabotage of facilities, airstrikes on Iranian forces in Syria, to include Iraq as well. Iran framed these as acts of aggression meant to cripple their sovereignty. Sorry, I'm not a professional at this. And technical development. Now, here's the problem with conflicts like this. They don't start with tanks crossing the border, right? This isn't, Fortress Europe, right? This isn't, I'm invading Poland, and this is how this is going down. It's tick for tat. It's covert operations. It's cyber attacks. It's proxy wars, targeted strikes. And each side is responding, well, they think they're responding defensively. But eventually, the retaliation cycle gets too big to contain. And that's when a shadow war becomes a real war, which is what we're seeing right now. Now, I mean, we're in it, right? Right, wrong, or indifferent, we're in it. So from a strategic perspective, success isn't just military. There are three things that matter, right? I mean, this is just from my perspective. It's reduce Iran's ability to threaten the region. That means degrading or destroying missile systems, drone production, and command infrastructure. Prevent nuclear escalation. We need verification and inspections. That's critical. That needs to come back into play. All right, because you can't have transparency. If there's no transparency about this, every country is going to assume the worst. And then we need to avoid regional collapse. If this conflict spirals across the Middle East, the consequences hit the entire world. Energy markets, shipping routes, and global stability. And some key lessons from Iraq that we really need to remember, and I'm not saying we need to go in and be nation builders. That's not what we need to do, all right? We don't need to do that at all. But if civilians suffer, wars don't end, okay? When people lose homes, food supply, electricity, hospitals, jobs, they flee. And if millions flee, the entire region destabilizes. So the moment the shooting stops, the Connecticut war stops, the next mission has to start immediately, okay? And people might not like this idea. This is just what I thought. This is my shirt too, by the way. Taxation is theft. Kind of where I stand. But we need to restore electricity and water, secure hospitals and medical supplies, protect humanitarian aid corridors, prevent revenge violence. You still have like 20% of the country, 30% of the country has been said is pro regime, right? And if they stay in control, they might target that other population, thinking that they were all spies, and vice versa, right? So it has to end, okay? Create conditions where displaced families can return home safely. All right. Now, that's not just current. That is all Iranians that have fled the regime the past 40, 50 years. There's a lot of people from that region that haven't felt safe to go home. Provide the atmosphere, the environment for them to be able to make that decision of whether I want to go home or not. I wouldn't go home if I didn't feel it was safe at all. If Southern Oregon was in civil war, I have 3 little kids. I wouldn't put them in danger of that. That's just human nature, right? I'd protect my children. So if civilians feel safe, they'll stay. And if they stay, countries can rebuild. All right. And then also looking at that as well, that's another piece to it, is we have to be ready to remove the restrictions that we have on them. That was against the old regime. That's not against the Iranian people. All right, so we need to position them to be able to build and create and restore a sense of normalcy for themselves. War is always tragic. There really is no great victor. But sometimes war happens because diplomacy fails and threats escalate way beyond control. What matters is how responsible the aftermath is handled. Because the real victory in any war isn't measured in destroyed targets. It's measured in how many civilians can rebuild their lives afterwards. And if we forget that lesson, then we're going to keep repeating the same wars over and over again. I mean, this is coming from me. I carried a rifle in Iraq, and I could tell you this. Winning the war is only half the battle. Winning the peace, that's what actually matters. Thank you for your time. Please hit subscribe, like, share, do all those things. And, I get some more people. Production value is going to go up, hopefully. And I'll get better cameras, better microphones, and I won't be doing this in my kitchen. So, take care of each other out there. Take care of your neighbor. Take care of your family. And be good.